just sitting here like really celebrating and excited and in awe and so happy. I just finished a 2.5 day private intensive with some people, two people, kind of a couple that kind of shared the experience, and it was absolutely phenomenal. One of the things that I just was really struck by, this is like a joy of business tool, is and it's really like a pragmatic reality, is that you cannot create from a lie. I'll say it again. You cannot create from a lie. Now, what does that exactly mean? What does that exactly sort of look like? Well, we buy into the reality that's going on around us, like the reality of, this is what you're supposed to want, this is what you're supposed to desire, this is what you're supposed to create, this is what you're supposed to have. And we look around the world and we buy into all of that, and we're like, okay, cool, I'll do this, And part of it is also like really desiring, there's so many different aspects of this. It's like desiring to make other people around us happy. Sometimes it's your partner, sometimes it's your children, sometimes it's your parents, any sort of family, or your coworkers, or your employer, or your employees, or your friends, your peers, whatever. We desire to make other people happy, which is not actually like it's not wrong, it's not a bad thing. But what so many of us do is that we desire to make other people happy at the expense of us. And we're willing to go, doesn't matter what shows up in my life, it doesn't matter what happens in my life. I want so badly to make other people around me happy. And, you also realize that most people around you are not happy, because most people are not actually happy. And then what we do is a lot of times we think it's about us, and we make it about ourselves, and we're like, oh, it's my fault that they're not happy. Let me change that, I'm happy to give up anything in my life to make you happy. And as we do, things get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because your main sort of priority becomes making the world around you happy, and, sort of allowing them to, like, doing whatever it is that you need to do that, to create that. And you get lost in the mix. Like, you're not in the equation anywhere. You're nowhere to be found in the equation of this. But the truth is, as an infinite being, you actually, if you're not included, you're creating from a lie. You're actually like not including you, which isn't actually even possible as far as the universe is concerned. Like, you're included, you are part of the kingdom of we, you're included in everything. So as far as the universe is concerned, it's like you, if you're not including you, then you are, the starting point for creation for you is actually a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie that you're telling yourself, and you're like, I've got to do this, I've got to be this, I've got to do this, I've got to choose this, I've got to desire this. And there's all these lies that you're telling yourself, and then you're like, universe, let's create, or you go about creation in your own way, whatever that is. And as you do, it's like, it's not going to work out. And this is actually one of the things that I think is like one of the coolest sort of like built-in kind of like mechanisms in the universe for making sure that we actually get what we desire, what we truly desire. It's kind of a really brilliant design, because if you're creating energetically, somehow you're collaborating with the universe, right? And you can do that more and more, and we could have lots of conversations about that. But you're collaborating with the universe to create something that has never existed before when you're creating your life, right? If you're exploring kind of the like edge of possibility, You're collaborating with the universe to do that. But the universe is like, hey, dude, like you don't actually desire this, And we're like, oh yes, I do, and the universe is like, not so much, And what happens is like, so it's like there's no energy to grab a hold of. Like, have you ever had somebody ask you for something that they didn't desire and you kind of couldn't give it to them because there's no energy there? There's nothing to grab a hold of, so to speak. There's nothing to like, to reach for or whatever, because it's all a lie and we're aware of that and the universe is aware of that. And we also won't create something for ourselves that is not something that we actually desire. So we tell ourselves these lies and we're like kind of lying to the universe, like this is what I desire, da da da. And you're never going to get off the ground. You're never going to spring into creating it, actualizing it, bringing it to fruition, because you don't actually desire it. And Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he says, if people are talking, they're lying, which is an interesting thing. But if we lie to ourselves all the time. When you're not being you, you're lying to you. When you're not like just living, you're lying to you. And when you're not waking up in the morning happy and going, what grand and glorious adventures can I have today? Like, I wonder what's possible today, and just like in childlike wonder about the privilege and the honor of creation. When you're not living, and that's not your world, you're lying to yourself somehow about something that you want or don't want, or it's not that important, or it really is that important, but none of it's true. And we try to make ourselves fit into these, like, the structures of this reality, because that's the only thing that we see. And I've recently stepped into this in a really different way in my own world and in my business world. I was like, gosh, like, I think the business that I've been creating isn't actually what I desire, Good to know. Because if you're trying to create a business that isn't actually what you desire, or you're trying to create a relationship but you don't actually desire one, or you're trying to have a baby but you don't want to actually have a baby, or whatever it may be, it won't happen. And then what do? We make ourselves wrong. We get frustrated. We go into the wrongness of us. We throw our hands up at the universe, all these things. And then when we do that, then we stop creation even more, because now we're in judgment. So A, your starting point is you're not being honest with yourself about what you desire, and B, then you judge you and your business and all that you're creating, and you stop it even more. So why does creation sometimes seem like it's not working well? You got to take stock of what's true for you and get clear. And sometimes the clarity doesn't come in like X, Y, and Z. This is what I desire and I'm going to go get it. It's not that, but it's more of an energetic sense. And this is like one of the things that showed up for me in the past few weeks was going, okay, so if I look at my business, like what is it that what do I actually desire to create with this, And I started to look at I started to just ask myself, okay, do I desire to do a zillion classes? And I was like, oh, not really, Do I love seeing people change? Do I love seeing people fall in love with themselves and go forth in the world and be like, I can create anything? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. It's one of my favorite things. And so, okay, cool. So how does that look for me? In this 10 seconds, because it can change, it can be different anytime. How does that look for me? What is that like for me? And then I started looking at, what's showing up really easily in my life? What are the things that are just showing up really, really easily? Hey, Martha. And it was like, oh, there's this thing and there's this thing and there's this thing. And it's like, God, what if I just relaxed into the ease of all of this? Because what shows up easily in your life, it matches. It's a match for what it is that you be and desire. It matches energetically. And so if you look at that, like even right now as we're talking, it's like look and go, well, what's showing up easily? And what is not showing up with ease? Do you desire it? Is it actually true for you? Are you lying to yourself somewhere about? And these are conversations that people don't often want to have because you got to get really real with yourself. Do I actually desire this? And that was really kind of confronting for me to go, okay, so this, like all these different things that I've been creating for so many years, do I actually desire it? And I was so ready to have a different reality that I was like, I don't actually. Oh, well, that's cute that I've been trying so hard for so long to create this, and that's not actually true for me, you know? But it's so cool because when you actually are willing to get that vulnerable with you, your barriers go down. There's nothing that you're beholden to. There's nothing that you have to hold on to. There's nothing that you're like, you have to protect or maintain or like, you know, make sure that it survives or whatever. And then you can just go, well, fuck it, man. You know, like, because if what's true with the energetics of creation is that when you're actually creating something that's true for you, that you desire, that's ease for you, that you enjoy, all that, it will just occur. It will just show up. It will just happen. You know, I mean, you create it and you have to choose it and all of that. But the way that those things show up is just with so much more ease. And when you recognize that, then it's like you can actually start to choose that. And it's such a relief to go, oh, I was trying really hard here. I was trying really hard here. I didn't actually desire this, you know. And for me, like what occurred recently was just this big let go where I was like, oh man. And what showed up in the wake of that was this amazing silence where I was like, wow, there's nothing that I actually have to do. There's nothing that I have to choose. There's nothing that I have to want. And there's actually nothing that I need. And in a way, it was almost like my whole slate got wiped clean. And then I was like, oh, well, if I don't need anything, what do I desire? What's actually true for me? And there was just, I gifted myself so much space to just ask that and to be with that question. And just like luxuriating in the silence and listening. And what has been showing up has been so phenomenal. Like things that I've been asking for a very long time. And the cool thing is that it's all showing up with so much ease. So much ease. And we don't actually often allow ourselves to have that kind of ease. Because it's too easy. You're not working enough. You're not trying hard enough. You're not enough like the rest of the world. But I bet if you're listening to this, that what you truly desire is not like what the rest of the world desires at all. And the problem with that is that we don't, it's like, well, nobody can tell me how to create this, you know? But that's exactly the point. You know how to create it. You know. You have the awareness. You be the awareness of how, quote unquote, because how is not actually relevant, to create, to actualize, to bring to fruition what you truly desire. And it is through the ease and the joy and the glory of it. Relaxing into the joy of creation. Relaxing into, oh my God, this is me. This is what I would like to have. And I got to see over the past 2.5 days this person that I was working with in this intensive. I got to see him really relax into him and go, oh my gosh, I don't desire this, I don't desire this, I do desire this. I could have it. I could have it. And he got so enthusiastic about it. Not enthusiasm nurtures and feeds everything like the most amazing organic fertilizer on the planet. You don't need the work, effort, suffering, and struggle. Those energies exponentialize everything. We just aren't willing to choose them because we have to be so different. But it is in the difference that you be where everything changes and everything becomes available and everything becomes possible. And it's so much easier than we think it is. So much easier. Like, I've had so many moments lately of just like my jaw dropping open and me being like, whoa. This is how I create? But it's too fun. It's too relaxing. It's too easy. Yeah. We know this. And so when you're working and you're trying and you're struggling, that's probably a life for you. It's probably not your reality with creation. So why isn't it working? Because there's something greater. It's called relaxation and ease. It's called you. It's called getting clear on what is true for you, what you desire, and allowing that to show up. Choosing it. You know, not just allowing it to show up, but actually choosing it. And then going, hey, universe, bring it. Let's do this. Let's create this. Let's have this. Let's see where we can go. And it will always show up different than you think and far greater than you think. Yeah. So, what if we could all relax even with all the crazy crap that's going on in the world right now, like, not even with it, but like, ignore it and relax into you, what you actually are, who you actually are, and allow it to sort of take your hand and show you. And then your only job is to follow the energy. That is your only job, to follow the energy and say yes when something shows up that matches. Whatever that energy is, and it may not even be a very defined energy, but just say yes when something shows up that matches it. And it could be a nap. It could be, I'm gonna go masturbate, you know? It could be, I'm gonna do something that I've never done before. I'm gonna choose something I've never chosen. I'm gonna say something I've never said. You know, you have to choose different to have something different. So this to me is the beginning of, is the inklings of a totally different possibility in my world. I'm so delighted and having so much fun exploring this. And I know it's truly just the beginning. And I am going to be starting the Generative Business Pods, my 6-month business being adventure, in August. We start August 20th officially, but we have a 3-part call at the beginning of August called Being an Athlete in Your Business. And to me, this is part of being an athlete. Now, that might seem strange, because what does an athlete do? Well, an athlete chooses with a level of presence and diligence that which is going to dynamically and rapidly expand their craft. You know, they don't pay attention to the frills, to like the fluff, to the extra. They go, this is going to create what I desire, this is going to create what I desire, this is going to create what I desire, this. And in this case, like for me, one of the things that's been showing up is, relaxation. You know, choosing relaxation is going to create what I desire. Choosing to be super present with the tools of access, like being present as me, being me, is going to create what I desire. Okay, I'm going to go in that direction. That's what I'm going to choose, and I'm not going to pay attention to the extraneous stuff in my mind. I'm going to choose with diligence. I'm going to choose with the energy of an athlete who is always choosing that which creates them as greater. So we're going to be, this is like, it started in my world. I'm so grateful. It's like one of the coolest things that's shown up in my life in a long time. And I know there will be more. So y'all are invited on the journey to come and play, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you just choose the energies and you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to explore that, you know. But if you want to come along for the 6-month ride, consider this a taste and an invitation. And I wonder what else is possible. And all of this stuff can be found on my website, which is just heathernichols.com. But yeah, what if the ease, the joy, and the glory of your life are the keys to everything? And you just have to follow it. You don't have to figure out how you're going to do it. You just say yes. And you relax and enjoy. It's time. The world could really use a lot more of this. So let's be it and let's choose it. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being here. Cheers. And I hope to see y'all somewhere sometime soon.